Hello everyone, my name is Prana Praveen Surve and I'm studying in class 12th from ASM's Geeta Mata Junior College for Arts, Commerce and Science. Today I'm going to brief you something about logical connectives.
So, what are logical connectives? Logical connectives are the words or phrase which are used to connect two statements. So, just like conjunctions, logical connectives are joining words. Before we move forward with logical connectives, let us take a look at what are simple statements and compound statements. A simple statement. A statement which cannot be further divided into two or more statements is called a simple statement. For example, 5 is an odd number. Compound statement. A compound statement is combination of two or more simple statements connected by a logical connective. For example, 3 and 5 both are odd numbers. Some logical connectives. The first logical connective, and or conjunction. If P and Q are any two statements connected by the word and, then the resulting compound statement P and Q is called conjunction of P and Q, which is written in the symbolic form as given below. For example, let us take P statement as it was raining heavily and statement Q as I forgot my umbrella. The conjunction of above two statements will be it was raining heavily and I forgot my umbrella. Now, let us take a look at truth table for conjunction of P and Q. If both the statements P and Q are true, then surely the conjunction of P and Q will always be true. If the statement P is true and Q is false, then the conjunction of P and Q is always false. If the statement P is false and Q is true, even then the conjunction of both the statements is always false. If both the statements are false, then the conjunction of the given statements will always be false. Second logical connective, or which is also known as disjunction. If P and Q are any two statements connected by the word or, then the resulting compound statement P or Q is called disjunction of P and Q, which is written in the symbolic form as given below. The word or is used in English language in two distinct senses, exclusive and inclusive. For example, is this triangle equilateral or isosceles? In the given example, or indicates that only one of the two possibilities exist, but not both, which is called exclusive sense of or. Whereas in second example, candidate must be graduate or postgraduate, or indicates that the first or second or both the possibilities may exist, which is called inclusive sense of or. Now, let us take a look at truth table for disjunction of P and Q. If statement P is true and Q is also true, then the disjunction of statements P and Q will always be true. If the statement P is true and Q is false, then also the disjunction will always be true. If the statement P is false and Q is true, then the disjunction of both the statements is true. If both the statements P and Q are false, then the disjunction of the both statements will always be false. Third logical connective is not or negation. If P is any statement, then negation of P, that is not P, is denoted by the given symbol. Negation of any simple statement P can also be found by writing it is not true that or it is false that before P. For example, P is a prime number. Negation for the statement can be P is not a prime number or it is not true that P is a prime number. If statement P is true, then the negation of statement will always be false. And if the statement P is false, then the negation of statement P will always be true. The fourth logical connective is if then, which is implication or conditional. If P and Q are any two simple statements, then the compound statement if P then Q, meaning statement P implies statement Q or statement Q is implied by statement P, is called a conditional statement and is denoted by the given symbol. Here P is called antecedent or hypothesis and Q is called consequent or conclusion. For example, let statement P be I travel by train. And statement QB, my journey will be cheaper. Here, the conditional statement is, if I travel by train, then my journey will be cheaper. Conditional statement is false if and only if antecedent is true and consequent is false. Let us take a look at truth table for conditional statements. If statement P is true and Q is also true, then the conditional statement for both is always true. If the statement P is true and Q is false, then the conditional statement is always false. If the statement P is false and Q is true, then the conditional statement for both P and Q is true. If both the statements P and Q are false, then conditional statement for both the statements is always true. Let us take a look at fifth logical connective, if and only if, which is also known as double implication or biconditional. If P and Q are any two statements, then P if and only if Q or P if Q is called the biconditional statement and is denoted by the given symbol. Here, both P and Q are called implicates. Let us take examples of two statements. P as price increases and Q as demand falls. Here, the biconditional statement is price increases if and only if demand falls. A biconditional statement is true if and only if both the implicates have same truth value. Now let us take a look at truth table for biconditional. If the statement P is true and Q is also true, then the biconditional statement is always true. If the statement P is true and Q is false, then the biconditional statement is false. If the statement P is false and Q is true, then also the biconditional statement is false. If both the statements P and Q are false, then the biconditional statement is always true.